When somebody hurts you, it's very normal to want them to do something to reconcile themselves to you. For some people, simply receiving an I'm sorry is enough because they know how hard it can be for somebody to apologize. But for many, it takes a little bit more. There needs to be some sort of action on the person's part who is apologizing that shows how sorry they are. This is something I teach my children. I tell them, hey, you just upset them, you hurt them, you took something from them. You need to do something nice for them now. Please ask them what they would like, or they'll just run and grab a book, grab a toy, get a drink. They'll do all kinds of nice things for them, whoever they've offended, and make amends that way. They will reconcile themselves to them. And my one daughter really enjoys giving a hug to show that she's forgiven the other one, and the receiving person does not enjoy getting the hug. So sometimes it's like, okay, hold on. Like, you got to communicate a little bit better here. But that's the whole thing, right? Is that as children, they're growing into understanding what it means to reconcile and repair relationships. Jesus has reconciled us to God. There is nothing other than the point of death that would have been a sufficient enough sacrifice to God of ourselves. So Jesus did that on our behalf, and he asks that we love and believe in him and follow him, obey the commandments, obey his commandments, and everything else. And that's how we are able to participate and receive that reconciliation action, the amend that he offered in our lives. God has offered his goodness to us in making us in his essence. He made Adam from the dust. He breathed his breath of life into him. And by succession, we are sons and daughters of Adam. We have all fallen short of the glory of God, and glory be to Jesus for coming to earth and dying on the cross as he did, because without that, I mean, we know that Jesus is the only mediator between us and God. So what does that mean? That means he is the one that is saying, this person followed my commands, they loved me, they believed in me, and so my sacrifice is meant for them as well. It is Christ's choice. It is his mercy that decides who it is that his amend will be offered to utilize. So that's why it's so important that we are seeking God and seeking Jesus and looking to love the Lord our God with all our heart, mind, soul, and strength, and to love our neighbor as ourselves. Last night I had a dream. My middle daughter likes to take little dolls and pretend that they're babies. And I had a dream that I had a baby, and there were a bunch of kids around, and they were playing kind of a hide and seek game. And my middle daughter took the baby and was pretending that she was a doll. It's kind of the opposite direction in my dream. And I was like, I don't know if you should hide that or not. No, I'm more comfortable keeping the baby with me. She's like, no. And so, however it was, she wound up going downstairs with the baby and hiding the baby. And the baby was asleep. And so, of course, after the game was over, the baby had not been found. And I'm freaking out. I was like screaming, help, somebody help me. I need help finding the baby. I can't find the baby. Where is? And I had to go upstairs. And I was like, guys, help. This dream came directly after one where my oldest daughter had jumped into the deep end. Oh, no, it was also my middle daughter had jumped into the deep end of a pool, and I had to jump in with my clothes to save her, just fully dressed, which my mom actually did for me when I was a young child. But this idea of the separation from the child, longing for their goodness, willing to do whatever it takes to ensure their safety. That is exactly how the Father, how the Trinitarian, God, the Father, and the Son, feel about us. They want us to be safe. Jesus was willing to do whatever it took to be sure, ensure our safety long term, to ensure that we were not bound to the logical consequence of hell. That was his desire for us. And the Father allowed it. The Father said, if you It's like Jesus had to go completely willingly, right? He knew what the Father wanted for his amend. And so obviously in my dream where my daughter had hidden the baby and couldn't be found, she as a child was kind of wandering around. She wasn't really looking very hard. She didn't understand the gravity of the situation. She, was just kind of whatever. So I had to go enlist other help because she couldn't fully comprehend. There wasn't a fullness of amend that she could offer to me for the hurt that I was experiencing. That would be like a spiritually immature person, like an adult, right? If you know that you've hurt somebody majorly and you're just kind of whatever about it, that's not going to repair your relationship. It's not going to bring you two closer together. Obviously, when you have children, you're very forgiving and you have mercy on them because they're children. And it's like, okay, no, like you're just a child. It's okay. But I do need help and I'm going to find that help however I need. And so just making sure that we are being the spiritually mature adults and grown-ups that we are and not acting as children, not treating Jesus's and God's mercy for granted, I think is really important to just, right, as I said, understand the gravity of what was offered. Do not take it for granted and appreciate the mercy that is given, because we do have the ability to fully comprehend that, unlike a child who doesn't understand really the level of grace or mercy that's being extended to them, because we have fully formed brains and we're able to be rational and we have different levels of understanding. We are capable of that. And that is where the accountability begins. And Jesus will say, how did you honor my sacrifice? How were you a good and faithful servant? Why should I tell you well done? What is your path toward Christ? How are you honoring everything that he has done for us? So that's just what I want to leave you with today. I hope that you have an enjoyable weekend, and I look forward to chatting with you guys again tomorrow as we begin the 4th week of Lent. Take care. God bless.